Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
'20 Mercedes-AMG A35.
4MATIC hatch with launch control. That's pretty good.
Horsepower torque!
302 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque from a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo.
And this little summer gun beats with the Golf R and the JCW.
Yes, and kind of the Audi S3, even though it's not a hatch.
Yeah, because we don't get that in North America.
No, we don't.
What's good? Punch it.
That's good.
This thing actually sounds amazing. I didn't think it would be as fun as it is.
It sounds hilarious. It's kind of like that same JCW thing where the exhaust pops, it's really loud, and it sounds pretty cool.
And there is an A45 that exists in the world, but we're not getting that in North America. And I don't even know if the United States gets this, because I don't think they get hatches.
I don't know. Maybe they are getting this, but regardless, we got it in Canada.
And before we keep going, if you're not subscribed yet, consider subscribing, but not to us. There's a couple other channels that almost have their plaques for 1,000,000 and 100,000.
Subscribe to The Smoking Tire. They're almost at 1 million subscribers. They're legends. They've been around for so long.
And Micah Musio, who does car reviews and helicopter reviews, is almost at 100K. So check those guys out.
Maybe subscribe to us as well.
Maybe. All right, downshift, hit me with some pop, pop, pop. Okay, like you really just need to let off at full RPMs and just like
Pretty much. So the tone of it sounds pretty decent. It is definitely a 4-cylinder, so it doesn't sound as cool as like a 6 or an 8, obviously, but it's pretty cool for this type of car, and you definitely get lots of crackles and pops in Sport Plus mode. You don't get them in any other mode.
How about in Cliche Corner mode?
Let's find out through Cliche Corner, actually. And wow, this handles really well. I did not expect how well this handles.
And this is all-wheel drive.
Yes, it is. It's 4MATIC, but it's mostly front-wheel drive until it decides to send power to the back, and then it can only send up to 50% of the torque to the back.
Which we always used to think was totally lame. You're like, I need a rear-wheel drive car. But when we went to the AMG Winter Sporting event, the most fun car was the CLA 45 because you could get so much angle and like pull through.
You could do reverse entries with it.
This is good for certain stuff, but it's only like ice driving and snow driving.
Yes, but this is a pretty crazy all-wheel drive system that has torque vectoring that uses electromechanical clutches to send power to the correct wheel when it needs to. And I've been doing all of my sends in this car in traction control sport and off because that also changes the way the all-wheel drive system works, so then it'll direct more power to the back.
And since this is not a real AMG, yes, it's an A35, the motor is not hand-built, it has no signatures, we don't get a race mode.
Yeah, but this is where it kind of blurs the lines as well. We actually had launch control, so we do have race start.
Yeah, so I think this is the first not real AMG to have that, and you think it's because of the transmission.
Yes, so this does have a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which is fantastic, shifts really quickly. I've noticed a little bit of clunkiness at low speeds. It's not that smooth, but if you just want to have fun, this is a really good transmission.
Yeah, have more fun.
All right, more fun into Cliche, downshift and send. Man, this thing just rips through Cliche. There's not much body roll. We do have the adaptive optional suspension as well, and I think you should definitely option it. Not too much oversteer out of this one. I tried. And the steering is also really good. You get the same Mercedes style steering that you get in basically anything in their lineup. It doesn't feel fake. It feels great.
Okay, I think we should now talk about the looks, because this kind of is like one of the best looking Mercedes of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it is a hot hatch. We should probably address the looks.
I want to start with the back.
So you probably want to start with that massive rear wing, which is an option.
I actually want to start with the bottom splitter.
Oh, okay.
Because it looks so wide, so low. The exhaust tips are good. Everything looks amazing back there.
And I noticed that the rear diffuser and the rear bumper actually look like they're lower than the front bumper.
It's very cool. And then moving up to that wing, yeah, it looks like a cool wing, kind of like the GLA 45 has.
Yeah, and this is part of the AMG aerodynamics package. And by the way, the spoiler shakes a lot, so enjoy these gratuitous slow-mo shots of the spoiler shaking from multiple directions.
Okay, body lines. We've reviewed an A250 before. This is pretty much the same thing.
So we've already reviewed the regular sedan and the regular hatch, so this one looks a little bit different. It's a little bit lower as well.
I think I might have said 250 instead of 220. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
One of them's the hatch, one of them's the sedan.
What I really like is that it's all blacked out, but there is a little bit of chrome on the door handles, which also matches a tiny bit of the polished metal on the wheels.
Yeah, and this is blacked out because it has about 5 option packages on it, so that brings the price up a little bit more.
Do you like the wheels?
I do really like these wheels because you can get these on a lot of other Mercedes.
And then we've got drilled brakes and we got gray brake calipers. Like, I don't know if red would be better. The car's already red.
Yeah, but how much cooler would this be in yellow? Because yeah, you can get this car in yellow.
Yeah, you know, I like my yellow cars. And what would be the Continental recommended tire for the A35?
The Continental Extreme Contact Sport. And what do you think of the front end?
Front end's pretty good. Usually we hate the new Mercedes headlights, but like you said earlier, these kind of headlights work really well on the small SUVs and I guess hatches.
Yeah, and even the GTR as well, but not so much on the new E-Class and the new S-Class Spy Shots.
Yeah, the new E-Class that looks exactly like a GT63.
And a C-Class as well now.
So we do have some fake vents up at the front end. Do you hate it or do you kind of expect it for a non-real AMG?
I expect it, considering this doesn't have the Panamericana grille, it doesn't have any of like the real AMG stuff, but in between all the fakeness, there's also some realness, like you can see right through the side of the front bumper.
And this one's not optioned with a front camera or 360 camera, but you can see where they put a plug where the front 360 camera would be.
Yeah, like just like a blacked out plug right there.
Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. And then we've got like the older style grille. I think this looks amazing.
So do I. I really like how this car looks. It fits in with other hot hatches, especially with the AMG aerodynamics package. Now that we're done with the looks, I'm just gonna rip it a little bit more because this is actually really fun to drive. Okay, so like I said, the steering is really good. The body roll is also really good. And I mentioned the suspension earlier. If you put it into comfort mode, this is really comfortable. This isn't as stiff as other Mercedes cars in comfort mode. So this is a better daily than a lot of other Mercedes that have AMG badges.
But there are some things that make this not the best daily, and I'd like to talk about that behind the wheel. Launch control.
No. First, start the car for me. Quiet start in comfort mode, like every other AMG. Turn it off. Pull one of the paddles forward, start it. Emotion start. Revs higher and the exhaust valves are open.
When you hold the paddle while starting.
On every new AMG.
Nice.
Okay, race start for me, Sport Plus. Yeah, you gotta turn off the traction fully. And
click OK.
Send it.
Probably should be in drive.
Probably, yeah.
But it does rev all the way out.
Yes, it does.
In park. Those are really hard shifts, and you get all the flashing lights when you do race start like all the other AMGs.
Yeah, and this will do 0 to 100 in 4.7 seconds, which is very respectable.
And there was like no slipping of the wheels there at all.
Nothing. And we did mention a Golf R being a competitor, and this is faster than the Golf R, even though it only has a couple more horsepower.
Okay, I want to talk about the looks of this compared to the looks of the Golf R.
Okay, this is obviously a little crazier.
The Golf R with one of the custom colors compared to this in this red.
And what if we deleted the aerodynamics package from this?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
The Golf R can look better, even though this does look really good right now.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, back to the daily driving stuff I wanted to talk about. This one right here is not spec'd out with all the lane keeping adaptive cruise stuff, which totally sucks for driving.
But it's cool that you can get it in like the cheapest Mercedes possible.
Yeah.
Well, sort of, because this is the AMG version.
And then some good daily driving stuff. This does have Hey Mercedes, so you can talk to your car, get all that stuff. It's got that trackpad I don't like, but I've gotten used to it.
And it's a touchscreen, so you just end up using that anyways.
And then our gauge cluster is slightly different. We get a lot more race car stuff, and changing the gauges on the left and on the right is a lot different than every other Mercedes because it's now different in the A-Class.
And you mentioned that we have a bunch of drive modes, but we don't have race mode, and you can also adjust them on the steering wheel just like every other Mercedes if you option it.
I love that this is in all the Mercedes now.
It's really cool to have that. And this does have AMG Dynamics, which is new for every other new AMG that we've already described very thoroughly in all of our recent AMG videos, so I won't get into it, but this only has basic and advanced. It does not have master.
All right, some other stuff I like on the interior. We do have really good ambient lighting inside. It is so bright that you could see it during the day, like all the time.
It's really impressive. I like it a lot.
This is probably the best Mercedes interior lighting. Probably better than the E-Class.
It's up there. We do have some gross gloss black, but the vents are really nice.
Yeah, and another thing I've noticed on the interior, well, we both noticed, is that everything is just like slightly cheaper than every other Mercedes. Like from the shifter stock to the buttons on the side for the windows, even these buttons in the command center, everything just looks like feels a little cheaper.
So if you look at the seat adjustment in this, it does look cheap compared to other Mercedes. However, it doesn't look cheap compared to other cars. So this looks more premium than a Golf R does on the inside. It's only when you compare it to Mercedes' own brand that it looks kind of cheap.
And even this screen here, doesn't it feel like a little smaller, like the fonts are a little smaller? And this screen on the right, I feel like the steering wheel is blocking a lot of the stuff at the very left for my height.
I noticed that as well a little bit for the left half of it.
But what's cool about this one is you've got the augmented reality camera with the built-in dash camera up here. So while you're doing your navigation, it'll show up and tell you where to turn.
But you're never going to use that because this has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Yes, which is not widescreen. But what sucks about the dash cam is in other parts of the world, not Canada, not USA, you can have the dash cam as one of your apps through the Mercedes Me section.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
But you can't do it here for some reason.
Ridiculous.
I don't know why.
Other manufacturers have done it, like BMW has it.
Okay, and then the next thing that sucks about that is I was trying to get track pace to work on here.
How many times have we tried to get track pace to work in every other Mercedes?
I figured it out.
Okay.
It doesn't work, but I figured out why.
All right.
In MBUX, if you go through the literature on the app, it says you can't yet connect your phone to use as like a video recorder.
Okay.
It says not available yet. But it says you can use a USB drive to stick into the USB-C to record your laps.
So you tried that?
But it wouldn't record. To turn on recording for a USB drive, you need to go into your Me apps and turn it on in the dash cam settings. But we don't have dash cam settings because we're in North America. So technically, you can't use any video recording here, even though they kind of say you can.
Wow.
That's what I figured out. So it's been like 8 hours of me overall on the Straight Pipes figuring out track pace, and that's where I concluded. And if anyone else says they can in North America, you're lying. I dare to send us the footage on Facebook. Doesn't exist.
Let me know, because I would love to find out if Yuri's wrong, because it seems like he's very thorough about that.
I would love to be wrong.
Yeah, no, that'd be great, because then it would work, because we've tried so many times in so many different versions, so many different cars, and it just doesn't...
It says coming soon to MBUX.
Is it?
I mean, it's been out for like a year, hasn't it?
Maybe it's like Acura when they said Android Auto was coming, and then it never came, just like BMW.
Yeah. Okay,
maybe it's out.
That's enough track.
The videos about it are out.
That's enough track pace.
Thank you.
But you can like have a ghost on there and stuff. It's kind of cool.
That's cool. It works. Now that we have that very thorough rant out of the way, visors.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, is this the first one that fails? Man, Mercedes.
Disappointed.
Box test.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and welcome our new box test members of Filthy Lot and Winston M. 9 boxes, which is amazing. I also did put my bicycle in here out of my Honda Element, and it fit perfectly fine. So this is a very good utility vehicle.
So it looks pretty small from the outside, but it does a decent job of its interior configuration.
Yeah, and it's like a really low load floor because this thing's like pretty much dumped from the factory, and there's just like so much room inside. I'm very impressed.
And back up front here, what about the cup holders?
It fits perfectly fine, and what's cool about these cup holders is if you look, there's this little button here that we can push, and that way you can put a smaller cup in there and it'll wedge it so it doesn't move while driving.
Cool feature.
And then you can fit your big gulps.
Big gulps, eh? And then we also have wireless charging down there, and then your favorite feature, a little thing that holds your phone in there just in case you're track driving or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of whatever.
Pretty much if you had this car upside down, I could see that working, but...
Okay, what do you think of these seats?
Seats are really comfortable, but not as bolstered as I would have expected. However, you can get the optional AMG Performance seats.
And then we've also got seat kinetics, so the seats move a little bit every now and then so you don't get in like a stiff position. And then what about the back seats?
Pretty much no room for my knees, but headroom is really good at 6'1.5".
But realistically, how many cars have 4 6'1.5" people in it at the same time? Usually if you're 6 foot, you get priority front seat. Say you're 6 feet and somebody's under 6 feet driving, you just sit behind them. It's not like 6 foot 6, like this isn't meant to carry a basketball team or something.
I'm not going into the dynamics of life and how that works, but I'm just telling you the room behind 6'1.5" at 6'1.5".
Because these back seats are really scooped out. So like if you were right on the edge, it does have a lot of extra knee room. And to finish it off, let's do a little cliche corner sand.
That's pretty good, dude.
Like a little bit understeery, but it's kind of expected.
It just pulls through though, eventually.
Yes, and if you're on gravel, traction off floor, it will oversteer a little bit.
And this feels better than the Golf R does through here.
So overall, very good handling.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
So I guess we should probably get to the price.
And it's obviously a lot of money because it does have a Mercedes badge. It starts at $49,200.
Canadian.
And this one's optioned out to $60,050.
Okay, how much does a Golf R cost?
Well, the starting price is about $5,000 less than this with the optional DSG. So if you did get the manual Golf R, it's quite a bit cheaper.
So that's to the starting price of the Mercedes?
Yes, not this price.
This is more fun than the Golf R. It looks cooler than the Golf R unless you got one of the cool custom colors. But if I could get a Golf R in manual with the custom paint, I would take that over this.
And you'd still save yourself about 10 grand-ish maybe.
And then how about a mini JCW? I think that has better pop.
It's got way more pops, but I like the tone of these ones. That has like more hilarious ones. This is kind of more hot hatch aggressive ones.
So is this the new all-wheel drive, automatic only hot hatch king?
This is kind of like the new Focus RS, because the Focus RS doesn't exist anymore.
And it never came in automatic.
That's right. So let us know what you guys think of the Mercedes A35 Hatch. Is it the coolest hot hatch on the market right now?
And if you all want to message Mercedes and tell them to ship over an A45 for us so we could do some drifting, because that apparently has a drift mode.
Apparently.
We will do it. Track only. You don't need to register on the streets. We got this.
And watch our Golf R comparison video right here. We compared the manual to the DSG in cool colors too. Click.